Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we share stories that touch the heart and remind us what's truly important in life. If you're new here or if this story moves you, please smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow, and hit subscribe with the bell on so you never miss a new emotional tale like this one. Let's dive right in. The city lights glittered like scattered diamonds far below the penthouse, but Victoria Hale barely noticed them anymore. She stood with her back to the glass wall, arms folded tightly across her tailored black blazer, her sharp green eyes fixed on the man seated on the edge of her white leather sofa. He looked entirely out of place. Simple navy button-down, faded jeans, the faint scent of pine soap, and something warmer, like home-cooked meals, clinging to him. His name was Alex Thompson, and he had no business being in her world. "I only want a baby," she said, her voice crisp, practiced, the same tone she used to close multi-million-dollar deals. "No romance. No co-parenting mess. No emotional entanglements. You give me what I need, I transfer 7 figures into whatever account you name, and we never speak again." Simple. Efficient. She expected him to hesitate, maybe stammer, perhaps even smile greedily at the number. Men usually did when money was laid on the table like that. Instead, Alex looked up at her slowly. His blue eyes were steady, almost gentle, but there was a quiet steel behind them. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, and spoke so softly she almost missed it. "You think a child is something you can buy on a contract?" Victoria's lips curved in the faintest smirk. "Everything has a price, Mr. Thompson. I've spent my life proving it." He stood then, tall, broad-shouldered, unhurried, and the room suddenly felt smaller. "Then hear mine clearly. I won't give you a baby unless you're willing to be more than a signature on paper. My daughter, Lily, she's 6. She's already lost one mother. If another child comes into this world carrying half my blood, she deserves to know her sibling. And that sibling deserves a mother who stays, not one who writes a check and disappears." The words landed like a slap she hadn't braced for. Victoria blinked once, twice. No one talked to her like that. No one dared. "You're joking," she whispered. "I've never been more serious in my life." For the first time in years, Victoria Hale, the woman who had built a billion-dollar tech empire from nothing, who had stared down boardroom sharks without flinching, felt her composure crack. She turned away, staring out at the city so he wouldn't see the tremor in her hands. To understand how a single father from a quiet suburb ended up in the penthouse of the most untouchable woman in the city, we have to go back 6 months. Victoria had always known she wanted a child. Not a husband, not a partner. Those things were liabilities, distractions, weaknesses. But a child? A legacy. Someone to inherit the empire she had bled for. At 36, the clock was ticking louder than she cared to admit. She had explored surrogacy, IVF with anonymous donors, every clinical option available. Nothing felt right. Every profile was just data. She wanted more than genetics. She wanted someone proven, someone strong, intelligent, kind. Someone whose bloodline wouldn't dilute what she had built. That was when her private investigator handed her a short list of candidates. Most were doctors, athletes, academics. One name stood out because it didn't belong. Alex Thompson, 38, high school history teacher, single father. Widower. No criminal record, no debt, no scandals. A photo showed a man with kind eyes and a crooked smile, holding a little girl on his shoulders at a county fair. The girl, Lily, was laughing so hard her eyes were squeezed shut. Victoria stared at the picture longer than she should have. She arranged the first meeting under the guise of a charity gala. Hale Enterprises was the title sponsor. Alex's school had received a grant. She watched him from across the ballroom as he spoke quietly with other teachers, his hand resting protectively on Lily's shoulder, even though the girl was at home with sitter. He didn't network. He didn't chase attention. He simply existed, solid, unpretentious. She approached him near the dessert table. "Mr. Thompson," she said, extending a manicured hand. "Victoriale, I believe we have mutual interests." He shook her hand firmly, no lingering. "Ms. Hale, thank you again for the grant. It's changing things for the kids." She tilted her head. "I'm not here about the grant." His brow lifted slightly. "Then why are you here?" Direct. She liked that. "I'd like to discuss something private. Coffee tomorrow." He studied her for a long moment. "I have a daughter. My schedule revolves around her. If it's important, it can wait until after school drop-off. 11 a.m. at the little cafe on Maple Street. I'll buy the coffee." She almost laughed. Noah made Victoria Hale wait. But she came. The cafe was small, crowded, smelling of cinnamon and burnt espresso. Alex was already there, 2 mugs on the table, one black, one with a splash of milk. He stood when she entered, old-fashioned courtesy that irritated her. "You didn't have to order for me," she said, sliding into the seat. "I didn't know what you'd want. Figured I'd start simple." She took a sip. Perfect temperature. Annoying. "I'll come straight to it," she said. "I want a child." "Your child. Financial compensation would be substantial. Discreet. No further obligation." He didn't flinch. He simply looked at her. Really looked, as if he were seeing past the designer coat, the perfect posture, the armor she wore every day. "Why me?" he asked quietly. "Because you're healthy, intelligent, kind. Your daughter is proof you can raise a child well." He leaned back. "And you think I'd agree to bring another child into the world knowing I'd never see them? Never know if they were happy, safe, loved? I make sure they were provided for. The best schools, the best care. Money isn't love, Ms. Hale." She felt heat rise in her cheeks. "Love is overrated. It breaks people." "Maybe," he said, "but it's also the only thing that fixes them." They sat in silence for a long minute. Then he stood. "Thank you for the conversation. I have to pick up Lily. Good luck with whatever you're chasing." He left without looking back. Victoria stared at the empty chair, stunned. She didn't chase men, but she found herself doing exactly that. Over the next weeks, she sent emails, made calls. She offered more money. She offered anonymity. She even offered to let him meet the child once a year if he insisted. Each time, his answer was the same, polite refusal. Then came the day she saw him in the park. It was Saturday. She had been driving past on her way to a meeting when she spotted him, Alex pushing Lily on the swings. The girl's laughter rang out clear and bright. Victoria pulled over without thinking. She watched from the car for 10 minutes. Lily ran to Alex, hugged his legs, begged for "one more push, Daddy, please." He laughed, a real, unguarded laugh, and scooped her up, spinning her until she squealed. Something twisted hard in Victoria's chest. She got out. Alex saw her immediately. His smile faded. "Ms. Hale." "Daddy, who's that?" Lily asked, peeking from behind his leg. Victoria crouched down to the girl's level before she could stop herself. "I'm Victoria. I know your dad from work." Lily studied her with serious brown eyes. "You're pretty, like a princess." Victoria swallowed. "Thank you." Alex's voice was low. "What are you doing here?" "I don't know," she admitted. "I just saw you." He sighed. "Lily, go play on the slide for a minute, okay? Stay where I can see you." The girl scampered off. Alex turned to Victoria. "You can't keep showing up like this. It confuses things." "I'm not used to hearing no," she said. "I know, but this isn't a negotiation." She looked at Lily laughing on the slide. "She's beautiful." "She is." Victoria's voice cracked just a little. "I don't know how to do this. Any of this. I never had parents who stayed. My mother left when I was 4. My father was always working. I learned early that people leave unless you control the terms." Alex's expression softened. "I am sorry." "Don't be. It made me strong. It also made you lonely." She looked away. He hesitated. "Look, if you really want to understand what you're asking for, come to dinner tomorrow. Our place. Nothing fancy. Just pizza and a movie. See what a real family looks like. Then decide if you still want to buy your way into one." She stared at him. "You're inviting me into your home?" "One dinner," he said. "No contracts. No pressure. Just see." She nodded slowly. The next evening, Victoria stood outside a modest 2-story house in a quiet neighborhood. Holding a bottle of wine, she suddenly felt ridiculous carrying. She wore jeans and a simple sweater. Her attempt at normal. She still looked like money. Alex opened the door wearing an apron that said, "World's okayest dad." Lily peeked around his leg. "You came," the girl shouted. Victoria smiled despite herself. "I did." Inside smelled like tomato sauce and garlic. The living room was cluttered with books, crayons, a half-finished puzzle on the coffee table. It was nothing like her sterile penthouse. They ate on paper plates at the kitchen table. Lily talked nonstop about school, her friend Mia's new puppy, how Daddy promised to take her to the aquarium. Alex listened like every word was important. He asked Victoria questions too, gentle ones. What did she do for fun? Did she ever read for pleasure? She found herself answering honestly. After dinner, they watched an animated movie about a lost fish. Lily curled against Alex on the couch. Halfway through, she climbed into Victoria's lap without asking, resting her head on Victoria's shoulder. Victoria froze. No one had ever touched her so casually, so trustingly. When the credits rolled, Lily was asleep. Alex carried her to bed. When he came back down, Victoria was standing by the window, looking at the streetlights. "Thank you," she said quietly. "For tonight." He nodded. "You're welcome here anytime. No agenda." She left that night with something unfamiliar blooming in her chest. Over the next months, she came back. Not every day, her schedule wouldn't allow it, but often enough that Lily started calling her Tori. She helped with homework, read bedtime stories, learned how to braid hair. She watched Alex grade papers late at night, his brow furrowed in concentration, and felt something dangerous, longing. But old habits died hard. One evening, after Lily was asleep, Victoria pulled out the contract sheet had drawn up. "I've adjusted the terms," she said. "You have visitation rights, regular updates, photos, whatever you need." Alex looked at the papers, then at her. "You still don't get it," he said softly. "Get what?" "That I don't want visitation. I want a family. For Lily. For the baby you want. For us." Her breath caught. "I don't do love, Alex. You do transactions. It's safer." Safe is lonely. Tears stung her eyes, tears she hadn't shed since she was a child. "I am scared." "I know. I was too after Sarah died. But I learned something. Love isn't safe. It's terrifying, and it's worth every second." He took her hand. "Stay tonight. Not for the baby. Just stay." She did. The challenges didn't disappear overnight. Victoria's board pushed back when she started leaving early for school plays. She snapped at Alex once when he suggested she delegate more at work. "You don't understand what I've built." And they didn't speak for 2 days. Lily got sick with the flu, and Victoria panicked, unsure how to comfort a feverish child. Alex had to teach her how to hold Lily, how to hum the lullaby Sarah used to sing. But they faced each one together. Victoria learned to say, "I'm sorry." Alex learned to let someone else carry the weight sometimes. Lily learned she could have another mother without losing the memory of the first. A year later, Victoria stood in the same penthouse, but it no longer felt cold. Alex was beside her, his arm around her waist. Lily was asleep in the guest room they had turned into hers for the weekends. Victoria placed Alex's hand on her stomach. "It's time," she whispered. "We're going to have our baby." He kissed her temple. "Our family just got a little bigger." She looked up at him, eyes shining. "I thought I only wanted a baby. Turns out, I wanted all of this. You, Lily, us." Alex smiled, the same crooked smile from that first photo. "Good, because we've been waiting for you." And in that moment, Victoria Hale, the woman who once believed love was a liability, finally understood that the greatest empire she would ever build wasn't made of money or power. It was made of quiet mornings, bedtime stories, small hands reaching for hers, and a man who had taught her that the bravest thing anyone can do is choose to stay. If this story reminded you that family isn't something you can buy, but something you build with love, drop a like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more stories like this. We've got plenty more heartwarming journeys coming your way. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.